So this is the story about this man called Derby and his uncle. Now Derby and his uncle used to live somewhere in Colorado in US. Now in 80s there was this something called gold fever in the West. So everyone in the West were going out there and then looking for gold. And Derby's uncle was one of them. So after weeks of hard work and labor, Derby's uncle was finally rewarded with a shining ore. So he quietly covered up the mine and then went back to his family and shared to his relatives. So the relatives got together money to buy needed machinery to bring the ore to the surface. So they shipped the machinery to Colorado, and Derby and his uncle went to work at the mine. So the first car of ore was mined and then it was shipped to the smelter. And the smelter believed that perhaps it was going to be one of the richest mines ever found in Colorado. So the hopes of Derby's were really high. So down went the trail and up went the hopes of Derby and his uncle. But suddenly the vein of the gold disappears, and then suddenly there was no more gold, no more ores. Now Derby and his uncle desperately kept on drilling and drilling, but they have reached the end of the rainbow, but the gold or the pot of gold was nowhere to be found. So after several hours they finally quit, and Derby and his uncle sold the machinery to the junkman for a few $100s and took the train back home. Now the junkman, who wasn't educated, he was wise enough to call a mining engineer to the site and asked him to do some calculating. And the mining engineer, after surveying the area, said to the junkman that Derby and his uncle would never reach that pot of gold because they were following something called the faulty lines. All along they were searching gold in the wrong place. And then he said the gold is supposed to be just 3 feet away from the current mine. And guess what? That was where the pot of gold was found. And then the junkman became a millionaire. So if the question is, if only Derby's uncle had not given up, if only Derby's uncle had persisted a little bit, he was literally 3 feet away from striking that gold. So Derby's uncle symbolizes many of us who give up after a temporary defeat, without knowing that we are only few steps short of success. So likewise, in life, success only comes to those who can push through failure, who persist, and who knows only in that frustration, in that failure, you might be closer to success than you can actually